Melania Trump faced direct criticism during a press event she herself organized, one that many viewed as deeply problematic. Viewers have been asking why she chose to hold such an appearance at all. The reason appears tied to her recent documentary. She brought up newly released hostages, noting that she had spoken with them and that their encounter was documented for her film titled Melania. In effect, she linked their freedom to the promotion of a project that has struggled significantly at the box office, even as certain outlets insist it has drawn strong crowds. Let's examine the moment where she mentions the film. Then we will look at the point when a journalist challenged her openly. One reporter pressed further, essentially saying, "If the discussion includes your background and your work, shouldn't we also address connections to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell?" Melania responded firmly that the session was not the place for revisiting her history or those topics. First, consider the segment where the film receives mention. It raises serious questions. In the clip from July 2023, Keith endured 484 days in captivity. Once Aviva gained her freedom, she reached out, expressed a desire to meet, and we arranged to connect in New York during January 2025. The exchange carried deep feeling, and that moment appears on film in my documentary called Melania. Next, journalist Betsy Klein raised a pointed issue. Is it suitable to leverage an official government gathering to highlight your own project? The reply came quickly. This gathering celebrates the safe return of Aviva and Keith, not any form of advertising. The two individuals traveled to Washington, contacted me directly, and wanted to express gratitude in person with embraces. That forms the sole purpose here. Promotion plays no role. To clarify again, here's a brief portion where the documentary receives reference. The meeting held real emotion, and the footage of it exists and can be viewed in my new production, Melania. It carried strong emotional weight. The conversation then turned to past associations, specifically any links to Ghislaine Maxwell. The response stayed consistent. Those subjects lie outside today's focus. We will not address them here. It would not fit the occasion. We are gathered to recognize the freedom and strength of these two remarkable individuals. Let us respect that purpose. Later, questions arose concerning earlier statements about Vladimir Putin and the possible release of Ukrainian children reportedly taken and subjected to severe mistreatment in Russia. Note that Putin's name surfaces repeatedly in Epstein-related documents as well. The inquiry essentially asked, "You have described positive ties to President Putin. Does that mean further releases are forthcoming, or was the claim made partly for personal visibility?" The answer? Efforts continue on that front. Discussions remain active, and I anticipate positive developments in the near future. Updates will follow as they become available. A review of Melania's online presence reveals a pattern of coordinated posts centered on building attention for the documentary. Claims of strong performance persist, yet reports indicate substantial financial losses, figures in the range of $75 million or near that amount. Production and marketing reportedly absorbed around $80 million, including major backing from Jeff Bezos, while returns have stayed modest at perhaps $7 to $8 million, even with wide theatrical distribution nationwide. Despite that, descriptions frame it as an exceptional achievement. Announcements highlight expansions to additional screens, 200 more locations for instance, and label it a standout success. Certain aligned media voices echo the same narrative, calling it a benchmark for the genre. Comparisons have circulated online. One noted that Pretty Woman, a story involving a businessman engaging an escort as a professional companion in Beverly Hills, earned $178 million domestically, $285 million abroad, and $463 million globally. In contrast, this release has drawn descriptions of underperformance on a major scale, even after receiving that large financial boost. Additional reporting from the Midas Touch network exposed efforts by certain supporter networks, including faith-based circles connected to Donald Trump, to encourage bulk ticket purchases and theater bookings, essentially buying seats regardless of actual viewership. That approach stands in notable tension with stated values. Investigators visited multiple screenings to assess turnout. They consistently found empty auditoriums. One correspondent, known as Secret Service Sam and affiliated with the network, documented several locations. In Pasadena, described as a hub for entertainment, the venue showed very low attendance. Reports suggested incentives or payments to fill seats, yet the space remained largely vacant. Another check at a Regal Theater in downtown Los Angeles confirmed the same. One viewer in the showing, with comments noting the absence of crowds. Signs appeared makeshift, and the experience felt strikingly solitary. One individual even spelled out Epstein files in a light-hearted yet pointed way while standing in an unoccupied front row, underscoring the irony of low turnout amid heavy promotion, Elsewhere, a brief aside appeared in the original delivery about personal habits and alternatives to alcohol, highlighting a product called Soul, non-alcoholic options like gummies for relaxation and sleep, with hemp-derived ingredients, precise dosing, and benefits like better rest without next-day effects. A promotional offer included a 30% discount via GetSoul.com with code MIDAS. Media figures tied to certain outlets offered contrasting accounts. One claimed family members encountered packed houses and enthusiastic reactions, standing room only, cheers, and an energized atmosphere described as electric. Such statements contrast sharply with on-the-ground observations. The director attached to the project, Brett Ratner, appears in Epstein documents and faces various allegations from the past. In an interview, when shown a photo linked to Epstein and asked about a woman beside him, he described her as a fiancée from roughly 20 years earlier, but declined to name her, citing privacy. He maintained no further contact with Epstein beyond that single occasion. Melania's own name surfaces in those records, too. For example, a 2002 message addressed to Ghislaine Maxwell using the nickname G, complimenting an article appearance and mentioning Palm Beach plans, signed with regards. That correspondence connects to a New York Magazine piece where Donald Trump commented on Epstein's preferences regarding younger women, calling him a terrific person. Questions linger about whether such context appeared in the documentary itself. Other messages in the files include disturbing notes from unidentified senders to Epstein, such as one from 2014 referencing a fun night, and describing behavior in troubling terms. Separately, recent developments at the Washington Post, significant staff reductions, including in conflict zones, have drawn attention, especially given Bezos's reported investment of tens of millions in the film, while those cuts proceeded. Taken together, the press appearance highlighted a series of uncomfortable moments: attempts to tie a personal project to serious diplomatic events, evasion on past ties, inflated success claims amid evident commercial struggles, and broader associations that continue to raise scrutiny. What are your thoughts on these developments? Feel free to share below. Consider subscribing if you value in-depth coverage. We aim to reach 6 million subscribers. Thank you for joining today. Accurate information matters now more than ever. Explore our Truth Over Lies merchandise collection at store.midastouch.com. All items proudly union made in the USA.